and innovation pace setters. Tamani Technologies and Systems, delivering value across continents.
Challenge your ordinary. Experience the extraordinary.
Not only the government, the municipality here has had no plan.
Now, I believe that my peace is my most valuable asset.
Absolutely beautiful!
This is exactly what I was looking for!
DJ Khaled!
It is a day to celebrate.
We're ready for action.
I like it when it's nice and soft. Yeah, that is nice.
How was it like growing up in Nigeria? Yes, sir, you know what it is.
Feeling is there that, you're doing something special.
Stop being so dramatic, Mira.
You should just be what you want to be.
Experience the extraordinary with StarSat.
Hello. The fourth industrial technology era has forcefully changed how every profession has been working for its clients. The world has become smaller than what we used to think. Imagine the ease of talking to a person who is in Australia, China, or Germany while you are in South Africa, as if you're just next door. The ease that globalization and the fourth industrial technology have brought to humanity entail doing business anywhere in the world as long as you have the purpose and the means. It is our expertise as MB Chabangu Incorporated to advise clients immigrating to South Africa on various permits and on opportunities for travelers who intend to sojourn in South Africa for a longer period of time.
Ayé náà ti kéré ju èyí tí a rò lọ nítorí náà ìmọ̀ wa ní ìsìlọ̀ àti òfin àgbáyé ṣe wá ní ọ́fíìsì àkókò lórí àwọn ìṣòwò ilé àti ìgbaniláyé láti gba ìwé ìrìnnà fún iṣẹ́ òkòwò.
Go MB Chabangu Incorporated re ba eletsi dinotari le basebedisi le di ofisi tsa rena kwa Pretoria, Johannesburg le Bloemfontein. MB Chabangu Incorporated e humanega ga bonolo go bareki ba rena. Go humana tlhagiso leseding ka botlalo re kgopela le re leletse mogala go 012 341 4187 go ba le re ngwalele lengwalo tsebile go admin@chabangu.co.za. MB Chabangu Incorporated, mo mathata a humanago tharollo.
Welcome back again. If you have just joined us, we will still right here on Pan African Morning on Channel 500 on StarSat. As we have promised you earlier on before going on the break that when we're coming back, we are going to be having two very prominent guests on our green couch. One of them, which is a president of the IFP, Ubaba Uhlabisa Bulawayo. It's such a very great pleasure to be with you this morning. And I must say that we are firstly very much honored to have you, and thank you so much for taking your time for joining us. It is a Heritage Day, of course. We are going to get into that just in a short while, and of course we are having our another guest there, Ubaba Maponga. He is referred to as the African traditionalist. He is not, having a specific, heritage. He's carrying the African heritage of it. So of course, we are going to, because of time, we're going to start with you, Ubaba Maponga, so that you can quickly whistle yourself out of here. We want to thank you, of course, for coming quickly. But maybe before we can get into that, let's just give Ubaba Buthelezi just to say hello to us, and then we're going to get into an interview to you. Baba Siyakwamukela or eGalaxy.
Good morning, Sisanda, as well as the viewers of the Galaxy TV, and also the guest who is with me, Ms. Maponga.
Yes, thank you so much, Baba. Mfowethu, over to you. now today it's a Heritage Day. A lot of people, they call you a controversial traditionalist. One moment they say that you sometimes, I remember we were reading another post sometime. I don't know if I could get into that just shortly, but I don't seem to have it. But we were reading something in the past which was saying that 1 minute you are a pastor, you are a bishop, and then you are a traditionalist. Today is the day when we can talk about that. People just don't get to understand. Today it's a Heritage Day. Let's just get to understand Umaphonga as Umaphonga in your heritage.
Thank you very much, Sandra. The warm welcome into the space. And as Sandra, how are people going to work on this? Because Mount BS calling in module C. You were taught blue is this, green is this, red is this. That's a cow, that's a dog, that's a rock. Identification is one of the basics of European education.
Yes.
Whereas experience is the basis of African knowledge systems.
Yes.
So you are frustrated because you cannot classify me. You want to put me in a box and then close me there and say, okay, he's a Christian. Then they know how to handle you. He's a traditionalist. No, he's a Sangoma. And in your mind, when you cannot classify something, it just creates an unnecessary tension. And I don't know why people are stressed about my life. I don't want to belong to any of those boxes. I'm grown up in the church. I've done pastoring. I've done bishopry. I've done traditional stuff. But I don't want to belong to anything. I just want to live my life. Is that too much to ask?
Yeah, a little bit too much, I must say. Now, what would you say? Of course, maybe we'll take an opportunity, given the fact that we've got Tubabu Tlhabisa here, who is a politician. How do we say that in our days, of course, our politicians are our lawmakers, of course. They put laws into space. The laws that we go on, they are being set in Parliament. Now, are we saying that maybe our laws that are being brought in our days, especially, they make laws that now we need to teach?
You're looking nice, but you might looking nice, but I'm not even listening to what you're saying. I'm just admiring the beautiful clothes, this color. She's like a shining queen of Sheba. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry, I could
you had to distract me now. You're making me blush, and now I'm forgetting what I wanted to ask you. But okay, most importantly, I wanted to find out that politicians or lawmakers, they are saying that there is a whole lot of, there is a whole lot of, different ways in which they put laws to say children need to do this, we need to teach this in schools, and blah, 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 blah. Are they doing the right thing?
This message I'm giving you.
I'm listening.
In my words, I want the Honorable Buthelezi to hear this. The only day I'll start respecting politicians is when they get into Parliament, not to make a dog to eat vegetarian foods, but to make that dog stop eating human beings. Many of our parliamentarians are there to put support and try to renovate a European governance system so that it works for the Africans. The day I will respect politicians, and IFP have a close, heartfelt, because they have a very traditional and indigenous concept.
Of course.
But the question I have for him, if right now we should take IFP and make it the main ruling party in the government,
yes,
are they going to be upholding a Roman and Dutch constitution? Or that they're going to get there and introduce to us an indigenous governance system? And until our African politicians are clear on their mandate or function, whether it is there to become puppy doggies of the European system, or they're here to reintroduce to us to indigenous governance systems, we're playing marbles, I think.
Okay.
We're playing marbles.
Yes, your last message on Heritage Day, what you going to say?
The only day I'll celebrate Heritage Day is when you have a white Heritage Day. Because by telling me that Africans have 1 day in a year, white people have 11 months in a year. So we cannot be waiting for 1 month in a year for Black History Month. And the 11 months, we're spending our money, we're celebrating Easters, we're celebrating Christmas, we're celebrating everything that is white. So the whites don't have a white day on the calendar. They will give the black people 1 day or 1 month a year. That's for you blacks. We have the 11 months to ourselves.
Thank you so much, Mr. Maponga. We understand that we have to let you go as you have a flight to catch quickly. And we are going to continue, of course, as Ubaba Maponga is actually leaving the studio. Would like to, of course, remind you of the incident that happened yesterday, whereby Ubaba Bishop Mboro went on and, of course, went to open a case against, of course, he opened the case against Ubaba Upushiri. Let's have a look at that incident that happened yesterday.
He gave 300,000. His house is about to be repossessed. I have another man who sent a WhatsApp with SARS and conversations from America where Major One inboxed through his Facebook, yet he lies under oath. He was also scammed. He said he created those, and also this Lawrence Chokwane. He also runs scams. When people look for money, he took them to ECG Church. They ended up buying anointed oil, water, and all those other things. While I was helping you, did you see the old people in my own church now? In our own church, the old people, after we prayed, because this man is hypnotizing people. People follow everything that he says. Let me tell you, a true man of God is like God. God wants everybody to be saved. Everybody will be following God and say, I receive God. But to him, everything, I receive Papa. I receive Papa.
Papa, can I explain something?
During
that process,
yeah.
Last year, December, if everyone in the world, yeah, maybe officially said it was a registered letter on the 9th of December. We rumela away straight by the
Yep, of course, we do apologize about that unsmooth transition that we had earlier on. Our technical team were busy working on it, but some of the things, of course, they do happen to the best of us. As we continue with our conversation with Ubaba Uhlabisa right here next to us. Vilakazi, I would like to us to go maybe from the beginning, that side. Yeah, you know what, I'm hearing our producers when I'm saying Vilakazi, they're saying Uhlabisa, I'm like, yes, Tagazelo, Zagwahlabisa, Vilakazi. They are busy coaching. No. And Elias Ona said, Ubulawayo, Hayi, Uhlabisa. I'm like, hey, let me work. Okay, yes, no. As we're continuing, Baba. To start, and first and foremost, we understand that the IFP has always, from the beginning, positioned itself as a party that does not, only does not subscribe to the white way of doing things. It's subscribed to us as Africans, and it's obviously, it has always been seen initially as the Zulu party, where a lot of Zulu people will relate to it. And today, as we're celebrating the Heritage Day, what would be the message that would come from the IFP that you would carrying it for us, that you want the South Africans to take at this moment?
Sisanda, as you have rightly said, we are rooted in cultural beliefs because every human being is determined by a certain way of living, and we acknowledge that we are in Africa.
Yes.
And our African culture, our African heritage is a base of our thinking and approach when we deal with the human race.
Yes.
As today in South Africa we celebrate the Heritage Day, this is a day where the people of South Africa should be promoting the cultural diversity.
Yes.
We believe that the people of South Africa of different races,
yes,
have to live their cultural diversity to produce one country of South Africa, which is the promotion of the social cohesion. On this day, we believe we should not celebrate the day separately. We should all recall our identity, our history, which makes us proud as a nation, and we should try all our best to do that together so that we demonstrate that we are a country that is moving forward as one nation, not a nation of separate races and celebrating our past separately.
Thank you so much for that. But Tlhabisa, maybe I said to before we went on air, I said to you, I would like to find out exactly as to how do you cope in Parliament, because that place has a whole lot of chaos in nowadays, where sometimes you have important things that you want to send across, important messages that get to be sent across, but it has been turned to an entertainment sector. Before the arrival of the EFF, the Parliament wasn't as famous as it is. So it became a place where people, when you want to have fun, when you want to laugh and stuff like that, this is the place, this is what you need to now watch. Now, what do we do? First thing, how do you cope in that chaotic environment? But how do you still ensure that the message that you wake up in the morning every day and go to Parliament, that this is what I want to send, these are the things that I want to achieve. You still continue to achieve it under the circumstances that the Parliament has turned into.
You know, Sisanda, the IFP does not believe in a populist style of doing things, in shouting so that you should be heard. We believe that you do not need to raise your voice to be heard. We are a voice of reason. Even if in the midst of chaos, we always rise above and tackle issues that must be listened to and responded to. As a player in the politics of our country, we have many issues which are challenges on daily basis to our people. The issues of unemployment, the issues of poor service delivery, non-availability of housing, educational infrastructure, health infrastructure. The COVID-19 have exposed us badly. That is why, therefore, we have decided that we will survive even if there is chaos in the National Assembly, as well as in the provincial legislature, and as well as in the local municipal council. And in the midst of that chaos, we rise above as a voice of reason and articulate the needs of our people and concentrate in the response and the follow-up. Sometimes it is unfortunate that the house that should be given respect, some people just follow it for fun, not really to listen what are issues, and it becomes bad when you see a lot of time being taken not dealing with core and critical issues, but shouting at each other as adults, but we can't do anything. We hope as the time goes on, we will all rise to the occasion and see that that place should be a place of an engagement, a place of dialogue, a place of pinning down the government, a place of making a follow-up, and see to it that the lives of our people are improved from what they are compared the period that we have spent from 1994 to date.
To date. You took over the reins from the chief or Prince Umangosuthu Buthelezi Ubaba, which he's been at the helm for a very long time, and I think those were the biggest shoes that anyone could get in to fill. How the journey has been for you?
The journey of almost over a year now has been, in my observation and a judgment, a fulfillment journey. It has been a journey that experienced a smooth transition. As you rightly say, it is not always an easy thing in an organization could it be a church organization or a political organization, to have a smooth transition from a leader who has been there for many decades and him handing over power willingly and voluntarily. It is not always the case, especially in Africa. But Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi demonstrated what is rare in Africa, but what should be there. He ensured that he facilitated a smooth transition. And what has made also the transition to be smooth and fulfilling is that he availed himself for support and guidance and monitoring. We tap in from his knowledge as an asset in our country and in the continent, because there is none other than him in the whole world in any way, Sisanda, who has been in politics for as much as he has been, working with a lot of people across the world. So now the period is fulfilling. We have one direction, we are pulling towards one direction as the new national executive. We do not have divergent views. There is no situation where the president is pointing one direction and the other leaders are pointing one direction. We agreed of our approach that as we move forward, at the earliest, we have a test in 2021 of performing very well during the local government elections. And our plan is on the road. The lockdown somehow prevented our plans to go as much as we planned. But now that we are at alert level 1 of the lockdown, all our programs are going to be getting off the ground. We will be moving out face to face, meeting people, province to province, village to village, walking down on the street, walking to the shopping centers, walking on foot to taxi rank, because we decided to change the approach. It is good to talk to people through media, through telephone, through mass meeting in the stadiums, but our new approach is a face-to-face approach.
This takes me exactly, my apologies, to the question I wanted to ask you, because I would love you to expand even more on that question, to say that in Gauteng and the Western Cape, and of course in the Northwest and other spaces, the IFP has seen decline in terms of voters that have voted. Of course, KwaZulu-Natal has always been the stronghold of the IFP, but also in KwaZulu-Natal, you have also lost, support a little bit than what you used to have in the past. So what other things that you have put in place? Of course, you have mentioned just now to say part of that is going there face to face. If we can expand more on all your ways and the plans that you have in place in order for you to regain your support.
You see, Sisanda, for any political party that has experienced breakaways, it is bound to lose support. At one stage, there was a breakaway of Dr. Zibachiane with Nadeko, and in 2011, a breakaway of Zanele Makwaza Msibi with the NFP. But what is very good, we went back to the drawing board, we reset the button to formulate a new approach moving forward, and we regrouped. You are my witness that in 2016, the IFP came back from 2 municipalities won in 2011 with 12 municipalities we control now. You are also my witness that last year in 2019 general elections, let me just go to KwaZulu-Natal. In KwaZulu-Natal, the Democratic Alliance was an official opposition, but we removed it last year because we regained support. If you look at the votes, it is the IFP between the 3 major political parties that got more votes, while the ANC dropped and the DA dropped, and we increased our representation in the legislature. Even nationally, we increased our representation, while the DA and the ANC dropped their support. So now, we are on a right direction of regaining the ground. This is not by coincidence. It is because of a plan that we designed in 2014.
Yes.
We implemented it in 2014. Well, it went as an experimentation.
Yes.
We saw that it was changing the direction. It yielded the result in 2016 and 2019. As we move forward to 2021 local government election, in KwaZulu-Natal, our target is to reclaim and get in charge of more than 51% of the municipalities. And outside KwaZulu-Natal, the program that we adopted last year is a province to province, village to village, face to face, where we were designed to go throughout the provinces of South Africa. In October, I came here in Gauteng and spent 4 days with my team. We went to Limpopo and we spent 5 days in Limpopo. In November, we visited Mpumalanga for 4 days, and in February, we visited Free State, and we were due to go to Eastern Cape in March, and then the lockdown came in. Now that we are at alert level 1, we are still going to roll out our program. At this time, we were hoping to be doing the second leg, and by next year to do a third leg, because it is not a one-day touch and go. As we come as a full contingent and spend 4 days and visit a variety of areas in the province so that we have a real feel. What we found interesting and impressing last year and early this year in Free State, the reception was amazing. People said, now our hope is revived because we have lost interest in voting and trust in government, because the issue of corruption has done a terrible damage that has resulted into a widening gap of trust deficit between the public and the public representative.
I would like to find out something. The elections are coming next year. What is it that the IFP is going to do differently? I mean, we know that during the times of elections, all political parties go out there with all this different type of promises that never materialize. They come in and promising us this and that, promising us heaven and earth. What is it that the IFP is planning to do? And is it another? I know you wouldn't, of course, say to me, "Oh no, it's just another way of us campaigning. We're not going to do." But what are the action plans that you have in place to say, okay, guys, we are promising you A, 2, and Z, but this is what we're going to start doing as a matter of immediately once we take power?
The IFP does not promise what it cannot deliver. Throughout our track record, we do not want to mislead people and promise heaven on earth. If the IFP is given power at a municipal level, as we are going for the local government election, the first thing that we come with as a package is to give our people the government with integrity. The cancer that is killing our society today is corruption. The money that should be advancing the good cause and ensuring service delivery to our people go into wrong hands. The IFP is swift in acting against corrupt officials and public representatives. You will never hear us of this new notion that a person must step aside. No. If a person is implicated in a serious corruption, should step down, not step aside, because you cannot afford to keep a person in a payroll and allow a person to earn a big salary, yet staying at home doing nothing but benefiting out of the purse of the nation. That is what we will not allow as the IFP. The IFP believes in, will provide a government that provide consequence management. An official or an employee who is involved in corrupt activities will swiftly be placed on suspension, deal with the case at the shortest period as possible, and remove the person from government and blacklist those people. The service providers who benefit unfairly from the state, we will ensure that we recover the money they benefited from unfairly and blacklist them, never again to provide services to any level of government, so that we send a message even to another service provider that if you do things wrongly, you will suffer the consequences.
Okay. Recently, Honorable, you wrote a letter where you were suggesting that if the public and the private sector could work together, they could bring about solutions. Is this part of your plan on your next campaign?
Definitely, because that appeals more at a national level.
Yes.
You know what, Sisanda, as we are gonna experience severe impacts of COVID-19, one way for the government to make a turnaround in order to mitigate the impacts of COVID-19.
Yes.
The government should stop throwing money down the drain.
Yes.
The issue of SOEs has proven beyond doubt. A typical example, South African Airways is bailed day in, day out with billions with no change, similar to Eskom. Like, for instance, if you can concentrate to SAA.
Yes.
The South African Airways does not benefit the majority of the people of South Africa, and it does not benefit the people who are pulling hard on their daily living.
The workers,
But it's only benefiting people who are well-to-do, who has sufficient money to go by aeroplane. That is why we are saying, therefore, the government should make all the SOEs to be run in a private-public partnership. Because we are throwing money away. These billions going to South African Airways should be providing more job opportunities, should be injected in the health sector, education sector, and improving the infrastructure in our communities, especially where the people who have been previously disadvantaged are given a priority. COVID-19 exposed us badly. You know, if we talk of education, people who were previously advantaged, their children were never affected by COVID-19 because they were learning through online. But the majority of the South African, even now, is a shame because the government will eventually implement a policy of pass one, pass all, because I do not see which learner will be classified as having failed, because the truth of the matter, the majority of learners never did any learning which is meaningful this year. This is what has been exposed to us by COVID-19.
Yes. You clarified earlier on some of the method that the IFP could take in order to tackle the fight against corruption. You mentioned the likes of making sure that people that are found to be guilty as service providers, they'll be blacklisted, and the people that are officials, they will be taken out and of course not given those monies. At this point, what do you believe that as the IFP that President Cyril Ramaphosa should be doing or could do? Because remember, there is this thing of innocent until proven guilty.
Let me start first, Sisanda, on the issue of Zondo Commission.
Yes, sir.
The Zondo Commission has taken too long. There are people who are clearly implicated in the Zondo Commission, and there is no action that is taken against those people. What will happen next? The witnesses will be dying one after the other. By the time when you arrest, there will be no one to testify. The cases will be there. And people who have been implicated, they will be starting to remove everything under their name, so that by the time when you prosecute them and you want to recover anything, you won't find anything. So now, the state president, the government of our country, when it establishes commission, the commission should not wait until it finishes its report, but once they have conclusive evidence that demonstrate that there is prima facie evidence that there is a case, then the law must take its course. Then coming to the principle of innocent until proven guilty. You see, Let us take a practical example of Zandile Kumete.
Yes.
Because that one took a national profile.
Of course.
Zandile Kumete is implicated in a corruption case of more than 400 million rand.
Yes.
The ANC, when she got that implication, they caused her to step down as the mayor of eThekwini.
Yes.
Now, they took her to the provincial legislature of KwaZulu-Natal only after 8 days. They say she must step aside. The question is, what is it that you have discovered after 8 days which you never knew? There is nothing. Now, the IFP says, the moment the ANC says people who are implicated must step aside, it's an admission that there is something wrong with these people. While we respect the principle of innocent until proven guilty, we are saying you cannot keep a person in the payroll doing nothing, not on leave, not at work, but earning a salary, while the majority of our people are unemployed, sitting at home, wanting to go and work. There is no work. Yet you, as a government, you make people who are implicated in millions of rands to carry on a payroll, while we respect the principle of innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
But now, people who cannot carry on performing their task should step down. Once cleared, you can redeploy them, because it is them who has admitted that you cannot carry on doing work of the public representative. So therefore, step down.
Yes. Now let's talk about Eskom. Eskom is in big tatters right now, and is in tatters, and there's been different types of opinions, and of course there are these, proposals that it needs to be privately owned. And you did speak earlier on about the collaboration between the private sector and the public sector. How do you want to create this relationship? How do you want it to be like? Is it it must be like a 50-50 type of a relationship? And this collaboration, can it just go through the entire government businesses, all of them, your hospitals, your home affairs, whatsoever? Do the private sector, do they come in as service providers? How do you want this relationship, or how do you envision the relationship to stand?
Sisanda, we will need to separate the state-owned enterprises and the government departments.
Yes.
Like, for instance, the SOE that deals with trains,
yes,
which transport millions of people, especially the poorest of the poor.
Yes.
That one should remain in the hands of the government.
Yes.
What the government should do, once the government has appointed competent people to run the entity,
yes,
the government must not interfere.
No.
Like SABC, once the government has appointed competent people to run the entity, it must not interfere and determine what they should do, because they will fail if the government interferes, because it has a political agenda.
Yes.
The issue of Eskom, the public-private partnership will be ideal in such an entity, because Eskom provides a basic necessity to all people in our country. And the well-to-do have resorted to other ways of generating power, which the poorest of the poor only rely on Eskom. The issue with Eskom is that once the government has appointed the people to run the entity,
yes,
the government must give them space to use their professional expertise to run the organization professionally. But entities like South African Airways, really, those should be going on a full swing, privatized, because they are not making any benefit for the country,
yes,
for the government,
yes,
for our people, except that it is a drain where money are thrown in with no tangible outcome of difference in terms of the results of the bailout.
Yes. Now we have had, of course, the issue of COVID-19 that has come in and devastated the entire world. So what do you think could be done right now for, especially in our country, to resuscitate our economy, as we understand that the funding that came in did not go to the right places? Where do we go picking up the pieces from where we are standing right now?
The government must press the reset button. Firstly, the SIU must arrest, prosecute, and recover money that was benefited unfairly.
Yes.
So that you send a message.
Yes.
That we are opening a new page. Whatever resources that we will mobilize as a country will not go again to wrong people.
Yes.
The government should mobilize all stakeholders,
yes,
especially political parties in South Africa, to come together and jointly make proposals and suggestions of what do we need to do to rebuild our economy.
Yes.
One thing that the government should listen to is that the SOEs are a sinking hole. The government should stop the bailout, throwing money into businesses that are not viable to recover.
Yes.
What the government also should do, the government must inject more money to local municipalities so that the local municipalities should target the LEDs, local economic development, where the SMMEs and cooperatives are provided with funds to run projects, because that will be a way of creating job opportunities other than people seeking employment. But if you develop people through the local economic development and inject more money to cooperatives and SMMEs, that is how you will revive the economy in townships, in rural areas, in the areas where people reside. And the government should also look at the issue of targeting the unemployed graduates, because that is a time-ticking bomb.
Of course.
The unemployed graduates should be identified and be deployed as interns in various departments to various municipalities, because you cannot afford as a country to spend money through NSFAS.
Yes.
And the people, when they graduate, they sit at home.
Yes.
There is an embarrassment. We have many medical students who have qualified as doctors but cannot practice because there is a test which they must pass, which they have not. You see what? The government of South Africa spend millions of rand for the Cuban doctors. Right now, we do not know where are these Cuban doctors, what are they doing, how much was spent on them. If those millions were spent to assist the South African medical doctors who have qualified but have not yet passed the test, so that they pass the test, it will have been a good investment. These doctors in South Africa were assisted by our government to do their studies, but after completing, they are sitting at home. The government will need to reset the button. The way in which it is doing things will need to be reconsidered, because we'll waste a lot of money the way we operate, which also drain the fiscus of the country, yet we can turn things around so that whatever money that is available, we see the benefits as a country.
Yes. Do you believe that maybe the government have done enough by, redistributing the money, or even have taken the right decisions when they were dealing with COVID-19 from the beginning of, starting of the lockdown until every step that has been taken by the ruling party, which is the ANC government, to implement, the lockdown regulations, and on top of that, the assistance that has been brought in terms of bringing the COVID-19 funding to assist people. Do you think that the ruling party has done well in handling of COVID-19?
You see, the ruling party did well at the beginning of the lockdown because there was enough consultation, with all political parties and stakeholders. That is why even the IFP became part of the promotion of the health protocol, and we became even part of, and the first political party was the IFP to contribute with $500,000 to the Solidarity Fund established by the president, because we put politics aside. At that time, the ruling party was managing the lockdown and the pandemic well.
Yes.
But it lost the ground as the time developed. They opened, closed schools, which was not necessary. We said it from the beginning that you can't open schools in the middle of the pandemic. They went ahead, few weeks down the line, they closed down. We said, but if you have listened from the beginning, you would not have done that. From that time, they lost it. It went to the resources to be given to communities.
Yes.
Food parcels never reached the people they ought to. Even today, there are food parcels that are still pegged at social development offices that have not been distributed to our people. And then corruption came over throughout the country, national departments, provincial departments. It was corruption left and right. The government lost it. The government could have, can still regain confidence of the public and the people of South Africa if it can swiftly act against all people who are implicated. You know what? If the state president, as the leader of the country and the president of the ruling party, says, I am tackling corruption head on, he should have said, anyone implicated, step down. It's a clear and a decisive message. But if you say step aside, what are you saying? Because you are not doing anything.
Yes.
Now, the lack of a decisive leadership and bold decision is a major problem of the ruling party. Now they are making blunder after one blunder. Look, the issue of the flight to Zimbabwe. You know, you just ask yourself, why the whole team didn't think of this, that this is not right.
It's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Anyway, now we're going to close the political part of it and now maybe get to know you in person a little. But there is, there were reports initially that when you were put in as a president, it wasn't a process of voting. The prince handpicked you and say, this is the person I want to be in there. And we have seen it in many cases where when people need to now start taking power, especially after a person has led for that long, there's always fights, there's always this and this. And this was quite very peaceful. What did it mean to you? Or maybe if you can share with us the type of relationship that you've had with him for him to trust you that much, to say, you know what, I want you to take over the reins after me.
Sisanda, although it really does sound the way you put it, but in reality, it is a little bit much bigger than what you are saying. You know, I think Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, as a seasoned politician who have seen decades, different transitions, rightfully used his experience of wanting to do a smooth transition, which was something not going to be easy.
Of course.
In the case of him having led the organization for so long. And I believe the time I have spent in the party, the expertise, talents, and skills God placed on me not only made Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi have belief that I can lead the party after him, but even the entire rank and file leadership of the party had the same. Because my nomination was not done by him, but it was done by a member of the NEC, Mr. Naren Singh. But he concurred to my nomination, knowing the skills and ability, because I'm the product of his hands.
Yes.
And the name was presented to more than 500 leaders in the National Extended Council, and they endorsed the name. And the name was presented to more than 2,000 leaders of branches, chairpersons, and secretaries. They endorsed the name.
Oh, wow.
So now the process of democracy was it filtered down to the lowest level of leaders, and even now I really enjoy the support and trust people of the party have given to me.
Now I have 3 questions. Okay. First question, you've got this present that you got from Umamu Shalombata. It is signed for you. It is your book. She said, I must give it to you. And also she said that I must ask you a question. I'm not sure if she was asking a question for herself or she just wanted it in general. She wanted to know, Uguti, Bangagi or Mama Ekaya, and if there is still an opportunity for one more to come in and strengthen umuzi wakwaHlabisa.
Hayi, umama uyedwa ekhaya uThandeka Manximalo Hlabisa, and the door is closed.
Fully closed.
But I do have many brothers. If she is in the market, I will convey the message to the family that because I did see her that other side before I came in here, that there is a lady in Johannesburg who wants to join our family.
No, definitely. In closing, Hlabisa, your message to South Africa as it is the Heritage Day today, and even if it's not maybe only for today, but your message to give South Africans hope during celebrating Heritage Day under these circumstances.
Firstly, Sisanda, our heritage is our daily living. Is not what we should promote on one day, on a Heritage Day.
Yes.
Daily, we should instill our culture to all our members of our community and also instill it to the younger generation who should preserve it after long we have gone as people who are older than them.
Yes.
This is the time of promoting social cohesion.
Yes.
Because we need reconciliation.
Yes.
You see, the things that we see, farmers being killed, as we have seen in the previous as well as the past time, whatever way, whatever might have been the cause, but at the center, reconciliation. The relations between the white farmers and the workers in the farm is an issue.
Yes.
And that is what we should be also visiting and penetrating to ensure that the owner of a farm treats the employees in the farm as human beings. And the social cohesion, therefore, talks to that. And that is what we should be promoting, all of us as the country. In these circumstances of the pandemic, I want to call upon the people of our country. Firstly, commend the South Africans, the way they responded, wearing masks, ensuring that they follow the health protocol. The pandemic is not yet over. We might experience the second spike, but our vigilance that we demonstrated should carry on, and should the second spike come up again, we must continue doing the same. I want to salute the frontline soldiers who laid their life in the best interest of protecting our country. We are proud of them. We express our condolences to all families who lost their beloved. May their soul rest in peace. But above all, we thank God it was not as devastating as it was predicted.
Somfula, you've been amazing. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute honor and a pleasure to host you on this Green Couch. And we hope that it's not the last time, of course, today. The elections are coming quite very soon. We would want to follow up and hear what you told us today, if this is what will be happening outside there, and would also love to see you outside.
No, definitely, Sisanda. It was also a great pleasure on my side, the opportunity to engage with your viewers and express our views. Definitely, we are going to be rolling out our program. We will be visiting Gauteng now and again in our face-to-face, village-to-village and province-to-province program. We will enjoy and appreciate an opportunity to come and talk to the people of our country and present our package and also listen to them, because we believe in responding to their needs other than dictating our views.
Yes. Sebonga kakhulu Baba. It's been a great one. Of course, we have come to the end of our show this morning, and we hope that you had a beautiful one and a very informative one. We'd like to thank, the rest of our Pan-African Morning crew to setting up this entire day to make it a success. But most importantly, we'd like to thank you, our viewers at home, for continuing to watch us, and those that are watching us through our social media. We'll appreciate you. We'd like to thank our guests as well, Mamu Shalomba, Ubab Maponga, and of course, Ubaba Bulawayo right here next to us, Bab Hlawisa, speaking to us with regards to what is happening in our country at present. I think then from myself and the rest of our Pan-African Morning team, we wish you all the best. Malami ke ngusisanda unomusa kwaqabe kuthiwa intombazane yaphansi kwamhlabe yalingana. Umfule ngophuza ngiphuzukele inkomo zakithi ngeshiya zidla phansi emahlathini asekubandeni. Kanti ke zona siphuze ebhudlweni umfulo ohamba ngeslow motion. KwesiKwaZibi isigodi kula ngibuya khona ngathwala amabombo ke ngawabhekisa egoli kwantonga ziyakuduma. Kwanyama kayipheli kuphela amazinga endoda maqede wenzeka kumhlolo unomusa ukumabona kude. Until next time, Africa, it's a goodbye from me.